Hi guys, it's Matt here from MCS-books, and today I'm going to do a video that was inspired by a video which Ariel Bissett did. She did a video titled 7 books that I want to read that nobody probably cares about, and they were just 7 books that she has picked up and she really wants to read, and she's really passionate about these subjects, but she thinks they will never be popular on Booktube. Actually, there were 1 or 2 books that I quite like the sound of in her selection, and I was just inspired to do my own video in response to her. So instead of doing 7 books, I'm only going to do 5. And these 5 books are books that I don't actually own yet, because they're books that I want to buy, and not because of Booktube. So these are not books that I've seen on Booktube or seen that anyone's talked about, but they're books that I'm really interested in, and perhaps other people may not be, but they also might be if they watch this video. I don't know. But because I don't own these books, I'll post a picture in beside me and I will get to it. So, like I said, 5 books. I've got 2 fiction, 2 non-fiction, and 1 play. So I'll begin with the fiction books. The first book is The Goddess Chronicle by Natsuo Kirino. It is a Japanese translated mythological inspired book. This book is part of the Canongate Myth series. So it's a lot of authors from all over the world actually that rewrite or retell myths from different various mythologies. So the Goddess Chronicle is based upon the Japanese creation myth, I think it is. But I really like Natsuo Kirino's work because I love out and grotesque. They were really well written, and I just really like the darkness of them, and I'm intrigued to see what she will do with this myth. I'm also really interested in Japanese culture and Japanese history, and I'd quite like to get into Japanese mythology too, and I think maybe this would be a good way to get in, because it kind of like fictionalizes it so it doesn't feel like I'm reading a historical account of the myths. It kind of like it's actually the myth itself, but retold in a way that could be interesting. So that's the first book that I'm interested in reading. The second fiction book is Vathek by William Beckford. Now, this is a classic that I had actually never heard of before. I don't even know how I found out about it, to be honest. I think I was just, doing like these deep dives on Amazon, where you click one book and then see what's in it, other ones you might be interested in. Eventually I got to this one. And it's something that really appeals to me because I haven't read too many classics, and I feel a lot of the classics that are most popular with people on Booktube are ones that I might find a bit boring. The ones that I've enjoyed the most are Wuthering Heights and The Picture of Dorian Gray. I quite like darker, more trippier books, and this one sounds exactly like the sort of thing that I could be interested in. It was written originally in French, and then it was translated whilst the author was alive, and he approved the translation and whatnot, and it just sounds absolutely wacky, but also really interesting, and it's got this sort of Orientalist undertone to it that could be interesting to explore, putting it within its context. So that's something else that I'd be really keen. It sounds like a sort of classic that is really interesting for my general interests, and also just a bit dark, a bit sinister, but funny at the same time. So that's the second fiction book that I'm definitely keen to get into and to buy. Okay, so the third book is going to be the play. Now, the play is called Christina the Girl King, and the writer, or the playwright of this book is Michel-Marc Boucard. I had to actually double check that because I was worried I wouldn't say it right. So he's a Quebecois playwright, I think, from Canada. And the main reason I'm interested in this play is because the playwright wrote Tom at the Farm, and Tom at the Farm was then adapted into a film of the same name by my favourite film director, Xavier Dolan. So I would be interested in reading Tom at the Farm also, but I'm more interested in this one because it sounds quite interesting. It's about Christina, who I can't remember what her position was, but she had a powerful position in Sweden. And it's kind of about her during the time that she had the power, and the sort of effects that she had, and then the interest and intrigue between her versus religion and science. So I think Kepler and Galileo probably mentioned it within it. So it's something that would be really interesting, and could be such a great it could be such a great concept to see as a play, and I'd love to read how this playwright then kind of like exposed it, especially considering what Tom at the Farm was like, because it was kind of a bit of a psychological thriller and a bit intense and stuff, so I'd be really keen to see whether he's kept that theme within this play or whether it's completely different. So that's something else that I would love to read. Okay, so then kind of going along that vein, the fourth book is non-fiction. It's a history book about the Medici family. So it's called The Medici Godfathers of the Renaissance, and it's by Paul Strathern. Now this is just a historical account of the rise and the fall of the Medici during the Renaissance period and their sort of like power within Florence and beyond during this time. They had like lots of power within like the art, but also within like banking and lots of different sort of facets of society. And it would just be really interesting to learn about them, because I don't actually know anything about them, but I've read 2 books now that have kind of like had them in. So the first one is the book I'm currently reading, which is Galileo's Dream by Kim Stanley Robertson. And the other book it was by Salman Rushdie, and it's called The Enchantress of Florence. So of course you can see like the links, but they kept on mentioning the Medicis, and I didn't really know much about them. I didn't know about that part of history, and I guess it's kind of similar to the Romanovs, which people have been talking about on Booktube, and sounds really interesting, but it's something that perhaps I might be a bit more interested in for this family. So yeah, so that's another one that I'm most certainly interested in reading. And also the author, actually, he seems to have written quite a lot of stuff, or non-fiction books that like pique my interests, I guess. So I'm excited to see that if I do enjoy this book, then maybe I can read some of his other stuff, because he has done more about the Medici and Florence and the Renaissance era, but also Italy's history as a whole, and I don't know anything about Italy's history I know parts of Italy's history, but very disjointed, and I would like to know more. So the last book that I would like to read is called, it's a French title, so I'm going to probably butcher this. It's Triste Tropique, and it's by Claude Lévi-Strauss. I've read a lot of his sort of academic writings before for my course, because he's quite renowned within like anthropology and ethnology and stuff that I've been looking at. So this book is sort of like it's like a diary account, autobiography, travel log of like his journeys, like that he has gone to all these places to kind of like study. And the name is really intriguing in itself. It translates as like sad tropics, I think, and it just like, first of all, I'm really interested in this whole like anthropology, ethnology study and field of research, and Claude Lévi-Strauss, the writings of his that I have read, I wouldn't say I like enjoyed them so much, because sometimes they're a bit hard to get through, like it's quite dense and stuff, but I did like the concepts that he uses and things, and I use him in one of my essays actually. And also like, I think in the blurb of this book, the first line is something about how he says how much he hates travelling and he hates to travel and blah blah, but then it's like goes on to then talk about all these places that he's travelled to, so it's kind of like, I think there could be some good humour to it. So it's definitely something that I can get on board with, and I think it would just be a lot more accessible, and to hear his voice in like maybe perhaps a non-academic setting might be really interesting, although it could be written quite academically. I mean, I imagine that it is, but still I'm quite excited to get to it. So yeah, so they are the 5 books that I am really interested in, and Booktube may not be as interested in. But let me know down below if any of these caught your fancy, or let me know some of your books that you really want to read that Booktube might not be interested in. And thank you, Ariel, for posting your video. It was great fun to watch and very inspiring for this video. So thanks. Okay, and I'll see you next time, guys, for my next video. Bye bye.